Hey, how you guys doing today? This is William Myers, Mantis Outdoors. Today we're going to be continuing in our budget blade series, and this blade is going to be in the $100 to $125 range, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so the blade that I have for you today is the long Kephart from Jeff White Knives. It's going to be found at Self-Reliance Outfitters. This is a really nice blade. Like I said, the price point on this is about $109. Scales on that, curly maple scales, really beautiful. You know, this is my style of knife, guys. I really like this blade. You know, those curly maple scales on there, awesome. The handle feels really good in the hand, and it's simple. You know, it's not overthought. A lot of knife makers today, in my opinion, overthink the handle, and they put all kinds of different weird notches in there and trying to make it ergonomical, but they just mess it all up and it doesn't feel comfortable, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, guys. Take it for what it is. This is the style that I like right there. Very simple, not too wide at the bottom, and then it contours up, thins out at the top, and that's exactly the way, in my opinion, the knife handle should be. You know, just like this knife here. This is my Scout. Same deal. Again, that's just my opinion. Take it for what it is. I use knives, and some of the crafts that I do, I'm constantly working with a knife for, you know, an hour sometimes. You know, making a self bow, I've sat there for 2 hours, not even taking a break, just working away. Only with a knife at that point, because that's what I wanted to use. But back to the Jeff White long Kephart. Really want to give you guys a nice close-up on that. I like the Kephart style blades just because of that right there. You know, and this is center lined with the knife. Very feels really good in the hand. Balance is amazing on this knife. Jeff White is a very good knife maker, guys. But that sweep right there is really good when you're processing meat. And what I mean by that, like field dressing a deer, for example, when, like, say a pointed blade like this, you know, you would have to make a slit and then get your fingers up underneath into the belly cavity, pull that up, and then follow along with the knife blade. And the reason why that is because you don't want to end up cutting one of the guts or something like that. With this, it's a lot easier to open up an animal like that because the muscle tissue kind of rides right on that back of the spine right there. And as you can see, the tip of the blade isn't coming into contact with the meat. You can pretty much just go right up, open a deer up, you know, things that you would open up like that. I mean, you're not going to open up like a squirrel or raccoon like that. But this blade is definitely a very nice blade. So let's go over here and we're going to do the standard tests that I do for my blades on my channel. And the reason why I do that, I do pretty much the same tests over and over again. And the reason why I do is for control, you know, like product control. I want to see what that knife does in Nachi. I want to see it make feather sticks. I want to see it, you know, baton. Some knives I do, sometimes I don't. You know, but I want to see how that knife reacts on each of those steps. So that's maybe to answer some of your questions on the channel. Some people were asking me why I always notch, why I always do feather sticks and things like that. I want to see from blade to blade to blade how they react on those tests. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so let me take this neck knife off. Now let's get down to testing what this long Kephart can do. So like I said, guys, the feel of this knife is astronomical. I really like the way it feels in the hand. Slicing, no problem. This knife comes right out of the box ready to go, guys. This is not one of those knives where you're going to need to mod it in any way. And right away, I will say, the really big sweeping choil right here might not be my most favorite thing in the world as far as this knife is concerned, but it's not really that big of a deal to me. I wish it was down a little bit further though. But that's just me. I didn't make the knife. Other than that, absolutely nothing to complain with about this knife. Just showing you guys, just taking this all the way down, flattening this out. And what I basically want to do is all the rough stuff, the really hard stuff, see if I can't knock this edge down and then try to do some delicate work. So let's baton through this real quick. Might not have got the best baton in the world. There we go. Yep, there went the baton. Alright guys, the baton I had broke. Happens, no big deal. What I really am trying to do with batoning this knife is get into those knots and show you guys how strong this knife is. As far as batoning goes, processing that wood down for crafts and making tools and other things like that. Nice little knot in there. Absolutely no problem with that, guys. I've been using this knife for about 45 days now, and that's usually when I do a review on things. So I don't do a review on things until I've used it for about 30 to 45 days, at least 30 days. Alright, so let's put on some notchings in here, see what we do there. Decent little straight notch. Put a square notch in it real quick. Those are always the two notches. Those are always the two notches that I use to test knives. I really like to test knives out with this notch because when I pop out the notch itself, that's when your edge is going to roll over. And if I can keep this edge, that's definitely a pass in my mind. You just kind of come in and clean that notch up a little bit. Be careful with this side because you're actually kind of cutting towards yourself a little bit here on this side. And try to avoid doing that as much as possible. But if you don't leave enough on this side to do it, you got to sometimes. I guess there is enough on that side. Alright guys, decent little square notch in there. These are 2 notches that I use for, almost the most. The V notch, I use it a lot as well. Alright, so let's see what's going on with this edge if we rolled it over. See what's going to do the delicate stuff, the small feather stick. Yep, edge is still, edge retention on this knife is pretty good, guys. I walked out of the house without grabbing my notepad, so you're just going to have to kind of forgive me on that, but I believe this is 1095. But you know, you could say, well, this knife's 1095, well, that knife's 01 or A2. That's great. You know, steel does count. Knife maker counts. You know, if the heat treat on this is wrong, I'm pretty sure they don't cryo treat these. I don't know. I'm not 100% on that. But if anything goes wrong in that, the knife's junk. And this knife is exceptional. Really, really nice knife. Very, very balanced. Nice cutting tool here, guys. You know, anybody that watches my channel, I'm not a knife collector, but I do have nice knives. I'm out in the field a lot. I do classes. And I'm just out with my family a lot. I spend a lot of time in the woods. So I buy the best quality knife that I feel I can. This knife for $100, you probably could sell this for a lot more, guys. This is a really nice knife. Okay, I think that's plenty as far as that feather stick goes. The one thing I really wanted to tell you guys is I'm really impressed with the spine of this knife. It's one of the, you could almost use this as a secondary knife. You could almost cut yourself with this. It's phenomenal. The edge on that, the 90 degree that's on that. For scraping bark, things like that, processing vegetation, or even spark with a ferro rod, which is what we're going to do now. It's pretty windy out here today, guys, but hope that's not coming through. I actually have a cotton ball band-aided down to the microphone so the wind don't come through, so hopefully that's working for you guys. that edge. That's 90-degree edge on here is, like I said, just phenomenal. Thing throws sparks. I mean, this is a good ferro rod. This knife, the edge on this knife is throwing a heck of a lot of spark. In comparison, I have one of those Chrono, whatever they are, Corona sparkers on here, which is one of the best sparkers that I have, strikers, I'm sorry, one of the best strikers that I carry. And you know, I'm one of those guys that don't like to carry strikers, but as I've said in many videos, I was given this by Chris, and I'm just pretty impressed with it, and it doesn't weigh anything. Just throw it on a lanyard on your ferro rod, good to go. So just in contrast, you can see the amount of spark that Jeff White knife is throwing from the back of that spine. It's just phenomenal, man. Great knife. Alright guys, just wanted to give you another demonstration of the spine of this knife. There you go. Grapevine's one of my favorite natural tenders. And it just takes a spark. Alright guys, so like I said, that's the long Kephart from Jeff White Knives. You can get this at selfrelianceoutfitters.com. If you don't know who that is, that's Dave Canterbury's site, Pathfinder School site. I can already kind of tell that one thing that people are going to be saying is $100 is definitely not a budget blade. This knife for $100, this knife could be, in my opinion, sold for a lot more than that. Not to say Self-Reliance Outfitters go out and jack the price up another $100. I'm saying for the quality that you're going to get for $109, this knife is well worth it. And it fits into my series, which I'm not going to push any further than the $100 to $150 range. After that, you're going to have, you know, I don't feel that over a $150 knife is not a budget blade, to me, in my opinion. Well, once again, like I said, this knife retails for $109 at selfrelianceoutfitters.com. If you can, go and pick one up. You won't be sorry that you did. Alright guys, well, this has been William Myers with Mantis Outdoors. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you click subscribe down below. Liking my video helps me and my channel out a lot, and I appreciate all your views, comments, and support, and hopefully we'll see you out in the woods.